on, keep singing.
But sometimes it hurts instead.
Oh, keep going!
Sometimes it hurts instead.
You can really sing quite well. Really good.
Take a look at this image of a girl and compare it to this image of the same girl. Why does it feel so different? Or take a look at this building on stilts as opposed to this building on stilts. The feeling is different because of one thing, and it's the narrative of the actual image. This is Genesis painting a recreation of a moment from her time in Asia. She spent a month-long trip going across different countries, visiting different places, and one of the biggest things that we talked about when we got together was how do we put all of these memories into one single moment, one single painting, one single picture. Take a look at this one, for example, of my friend Des. It's the emotion in his face. That's a big thing when we talk about creating narratives. I mean, I, as a photographer, and her as a painter, emotion is huge for us. That's the whole thing we try to capture. It's impossible to think that we can connect with other people if we can't empathize. Emotions are so huge, even in art. And while these are intangible things that don't have any sort of lifelike qualities, they're some of the most lifelike things to ever exist. Art is lifelike. Or this guy. We can see the emotion in his face. But there's something else in this photo. It's really vibrant. The red, the blue, the orange. I mean, even the flowers that are on the tip of the boat. We're looking at it and our eye is instantly drawn to all the colors. Same thing for a narrative. We want to have the story be vibrant. Nobody wants to listen to a dull story, so why watch a dull video or look at a dull photo? We don't want the Pantone. As good as they are, we don't want them. We want what's on the left. We want bright, we want bold. So make your photo that. This green, I mean, it would be a great picture without the green, but when compared to this yellow, right, we see which one stands out more. How about this? Look at this blue and how beautiful it is. And look at this blue. Completely different, but again, the same purpose. All about vibrance, all about color, all about the details. Speaking of details, let's watch her put in the feet. I mean, we have a large section of water and we have a large section of a colorful boat, but the human aspect is to focus on the details, which for us are these feet that are hanging off the side of it. And look how much care she's putting into it. Same for a regular story. Boil it down to the details. Some are Hemingway, some are Fitzgerald, but we're all looking for the details. There's a lot of details in this photo, but compositionally speaking, it's a lot to look at too, right? I mean, there's something in every corner. Same thing for this one. Clouds, trees, linen, more trees. But compared to this one of our earlier photos, there's barely anything to look at, right? I mean, the big lesson here is composition, and not just like how important it is, but how actually composition affects the way we view things. This painting, for example, if this were any other sort of composition, right, the detail would be taken away. I mean, the water wouldn't have as much space to be what it is. The feet wouldn't be in the dead center, and the boat wouldn't provide this very large contrast. Composition is super important. Think rule of thirds if you want to find a starting place. But what does it all boil down to? We want the human. I mean, this is essentially what we're looking for. This moment. That moment of him singing. And whether we go through and we look at all these photos, yeah, we can't hear a voice or we can't hear the clapping, but we see these human bits and pieces of them. We want to create a narrative where humans feel like they can insert themselves into it, where they can feel the things that we feel as we walk through those moments, as we drove through those moments, right? So, I mean, whether it's you taking a paintbrush and doing a million strokes until you finally find the right sort of color palette or positioning or layering of your acrylic, or whether it's you taking a camera and clicking the shutter a million times until you find the position in which your model looks the best in the two-way light setup that you've put in, you know what I mean? You're going to have to do it. And if you're going to do it the right way. Create the narrative that you want to create. Paint the narrative that you want to create. Take the picture of the narrative that you want to create, because nobody's going to find the same story as you. And at the end, hopefully they'll get to experience the same memory. That's just a hope.